Grogu and the dentist. It was a bright, lazy morning aboard the Razor Crest when Mando noticed something unusual. Grogu was being strangely quiet. Normally, by this hour, the little green troublemaker would have eaten at least 3 space cookies and tried to chew on a control knob. But now he just sat in his seat, head tilted down, cooing nervously and refusing to meet Mando's gaze. Mando tilted his helmet, running diagnostics on the ship while glancing over at the child. "What's wrong, kid? You sick? Hungry?" Grogu shook his head quickly, clutching a small cookie tin as if it were a shield. The Mandalorian finally spotted the reason on the ship's console, a blinking reminder. "Dental checkup, mandatory." Grogu let out a low whimper and pointed at the message as if it were a death sentence. Mando sighed. "You're not scared of a dentist, are you?" Grogu covered his face with his tiny hands and groaned. Mando crossed his arms, trying not to laugh under his helmet. "Come on, it's just a routine scan. They're not going to pull your teeth out, probably." After several minutes of bribery attempts and dramatic groaning from Grogu, Mando finally had an idea. "All right, listen up, kid. If you go to the dentist without biting the droid or using the Force to break anything, I'll let you eat as many cookies as you want for 1 entire week." Grogu's ears perked up instantly. His head shot up, eyes wide and sparkling like twin hyperdrives. "That's right," Mando continued. "A full week. No limits." Grogu leaped into the air, cooing in excitement, landing in his floating pod with a determined little grunt. Mando chuckled and patted the controls. "That's my brave little warrior." As the Razor Crest approached the medical station orbiting a nearby moon, Grogu's courage started to fade again. He stared at the white, gleaming building that seemed more like a fortress of doom than a clinic. They entered the reception area, where sleek white medical droids hummed and clicked, scanning datapads and calling out names. The smell of sterilized air filled the room. Grogu gripped Mando's leg tightly, his eyes darting from one droid to another. Mando leaned down and muttered, "Relax, kid. If you can fight off a mudhorn, you can handle a dentist." Grogu didn't look convinced. The medical droid called their names in a cheerfully mechanical tone. "Patient Mando Jaren and Minor Grogu, please proceed to examination room 3. Grogu froze, tiny hands gripping tighter. Mando nudged him gently. "Come on, I'll go first. Deal." Grogu blinked up at him, then nodded slowly. Inside the examination room, a bright light beamed down from above, and 2 dental droids prepared their equipment. "Please remove your helmet," one of them said politely. Mando stiffened. "That's not happening." The droid paused, processing the refusal. "Very well. We will perform a limited scan." Grogu snorted a tiny laugh. The first scan focused on Grogu. He opened his mouth nervously, revealing a set of surprisingly sharp but adorable little teeth. The droid hummed approvingly. "Minor tartar buildup. No decay detected." Grogu sighed in relief and gave Mando a smug little grin. "See," Mando said. "Wasn't so bad." Then it was Mando's turn. He reluctantly sat back as the droid extended a long, worry device. "Full cranial scan in progress," it said. Mando muttered under his breath, "I hate this already." The scanner beeped loudly, and the results appeared on the holographic screen. The droid paused, then turned toward him. "Diagnosis: 2 serious molar infections. Surgical extraction required." Grogu's eyes widened and he pointed at Mando, giggling uncontrollably. "Don't laugh, kid," Mando growled, though it was impossible to hide the edge of panic in his voice. "I'm fine." The droid corrected him calmly. "You are not fine." "Prep for oral surgery." Mando stood up instantly. "Nope, absolutely not." The droids moved closer, holding sterilized tools. "Please relax," one of them said. Grogu, still giggling, climbed onto the exam table, watching with mischievous curiosity. The droid reached out toward Mando with a small tray of instrument sand. That was the last straw. Before anyone could react, Mando dodged the tray, spun around, and elbowed the door panel. "Sorry, kid. Change of plans," he shouted, bolting through the hallway with 2 medical droids chasing after him. Grogu blinked in confusion before bursting into laughter so loud it echoed down the sterile corridor. "Patient is fleeing. Initiate pursuit protocol," one of the droids announced. Mando sprinted past the reception area, armor clanking while Grogu floated behind him in his pod, cheering him on like it was the most exciting thing he'd ever seen. The droids fired harmless stasis nets, but Mando dodged every one, vaulting over a counter and heading straight for a massive window overlooking the lower city. "Mando, please don't," the receptionist droid cried. "That window is on the 4th floor." Mando didn't even slow down. "I've had worse landings," he shouted, then crashed through the window, glass scattering like glitter. He hit a passing delivery skiff below, rolled across the top and landed safely in a pile of cargo nets. Grogu peered out the window above, laughing so hard he almost fell out of his pod. A few moments later, Mando waved up at him. "Come on, kid. Time to go." Grogu zipped out the broken window, landing softly beside him. The Mandalorian dusted himself off, muttering, "Next time, no checkups," Grogu cooed teasingly, tapping his own teeth with a tiny claw and giggling. Back aboard the Razor Crest, Mando sat in silence, arms crossed, while Grogu munched on a mountain of cookies stacked beside him. The little one occasionally glanced at Mando, snickering softly, his mouth full of crumbs. "Don't even start," Mando warned. Grogu swallowed a cookie whole and pointed at his perfect teeth with pride. Hours later, Mando groaned, pressing his jaw slightly where the droid had said the infection was. "I swear those droids exaggerate everything," he muttered. Grogu looked at him for a moment, then used the Force to float a small cookie toward his face, offering silent comfort. Mando sighed and took it. "You're a real piece of work, kid." As they jumped into hyperspace, Grogu snuggled into his seat, surrounded by cookie crumbs and soft coos of satisfaction. Mando adjusted the controls and stared at the star lines ahead, shaking his head. "Maybe next time," he said quietly. Grogu yawned, eyes half closed, murmuring a sleepy sound that clearly translated to, "No way." And so, once again, the galaxy's smallest troublemaker and his armored guardian flew off into the stars, one with perfect teeth, the other determined to never see a dentist again.